This shop made over $100,000 in profit in less than 6 months selling AI art on t-shirts. And that's not revenue, that's profit. I know because it's actually my store. And while a lot of YouTubers like to make content telling you to start a business that they aren't actually doing themselves, I personally like to practice what I preach. That's why I've been sharing everything that I've been doing on this store to take it from zero to multiple six figures in profit. And there has never been a better time to start this kind of business than right now here at the beginning of 2024. We have new versions of Midjourney that have just come out, and recent projections have shown that this business can be expected to grow up to 10x over the next 8 to 9 years. So you certainly haven't missed the boat by any means. And the best part is that you can get started with this business from anywhere in the world with just a laptop and $10 to your name. The process is simple. We start off by using an AI image generator such as Midjourney, which is capable of turning basic text inputs called prompts into amazing sellable works of art. We'll be using the latest prompt hacks to be able to get the best designs possible. Once our images are ready, we then upload them into a free print provider and list them for sale on our website and wait for the sales to come in. Since AI does all of the heavy lifting for us, this is one of the best businesses to start in 2024. Before we go and just start making a bunch of designs that won't really convert, let's make our lives easier by first taking a look at some shops that are already doing this, including my own, and get an idea for how much we can expect to make. And I'll show you my shop in a second, but first, let's take a look at this one so you can see that it's not just me who's having success with this. W Shop Studios has made over $2 million by selling these simple yet aesthetically pleasing floral designs on t-shirts. Most of them are these colorful, playful, watercolor style designs that, while there's nothing too detailed about them, you could definitely see somebody wearing them on a t-shirt or sweatshirt or tank top for that matter. And I can already tell you that AI is absolutely perfect at making designs like these. I'll show you my favorite strategy for making designs just like these in seconds using Midjourney. They've been selling since 2019, so with some basic math, we know that they're making about $60,438 per month in sales. And the amazing part is that while they have a ton of sales, they never have to worry about any kind of inventory because they use a print provider like Printify, meaning that when a customer places an order with their shop, Printify then print, packs, and ships it right to their customer for them. And as for how much they're probably taking home at the end of the day, we can see that their shirts are priced at about $20. Plus, they're charging an additional $5.85 for the shipping. And taking a look at one of my recent orders from my own shop, I can tell you that Printify charges about $13.18 for a single shirt order. Assuming they're getting charged around the same, that would leave them with $12.67 profit per order. Minus transaction fees, Etsy fees, and a little bit of other overhead, we can safely assume that they're making anywhere from $10 to $11 in profit per t-shirt. And keep in mind, the number can be far higher than what we're estimating here, especially when you consider that their shipping costs are substantially cheaper when customers order more than one shirt at a time. But using our worst case scenario math, they're making about 40% net margin on their $60,438 per month in sales, which works out to being just over $24,000 in profit per month. Keeping in mind again that they're not really doing anything special, and this is entirely possible using AI. My own shop, for example, I'm not doing anything special either, as last month we generated about $160,000 selling graphic t-shirts, and our grand total Printify bill for that month was $75,690.51. We had some other overhead expenses and ad costs, which left us with $24,634.04 in take-home net profit. Last but not least, let's look at one last example. Here we have Yoga Stay that has done over $3.5 million in sales selling graphic apparel through their Shopify store. What Yoga Stay did is they picked a niche or an interest that they wanted to go after, in this case, yoga lovers, and then they made designs for apparel that people in that niche would find interesting. I have to come clean, Yoga Stay is not some random stranger's store. It used to be my store. My partner and I built it to $3.5 million in sales before we eventually exited to a company called Open Store, who continues to run it today. But the good news about that is now you've seen two of my stores and you clearly know that it is a very repeatable process. It is no mistake that I've started not just one or two, but there's others, multiple seven-figure brands doing this exact model that we're going to cover here today. And honestly, if I can do it, then so can you. But if you don't trust me, that's okay. You can go look at the numbers for yourself. yourself. I've shared everything in video series under the hood, nothing held back. And you can use tools like Allura, which show you Etsy shop sales and see exactly how much stores like these are making for yourself. So now that we've seen exactly how much we can expect to make from this kind of business model, before we start making our designs, there was one key trap that we want to be sure to avoid that sets the winning shops apart from the rest. A target market, better known as a niche, is essentially when we just pick which customers we want to be making designs for. While this sounds like a simple concept, and it is, losing stores have one thing in common. They don't pick a niche. They try to make designs for everybody, and as a result, they end up making designs for nobody. That's why all the stores that I pick a very specific niche or category or interest to build the designs around, so that when somebody clicks to my site or my Etsy shop, they see a bunch of other designs that fit their own interests, and it doesn't feel like just a random gift shop of just generic stuff. So we want to start out super focused and expand from there over time. The good news is that picking a niche does not need to be hard, and we're going to now use a super fast trick in order to find a perfect niche for you in a matter of seconds. What I want you to do is to pause the video and think of a list of 10 interests or hobbies that you yourself have and write them down. These can be things from flowers to yoga to sports to movies to coffee to drinking wine. Anything that pops into your head, just write it down. Then once you've done that, I want you to go down the list and circle anything on that list that you have seen before on somebody's bumper sticker. This is called the bumper sticker test. And the idea behind it is pretty simple. It's that if somebody is willing to put a bumper sticker on the back of their car to show to the world their interest in that topic, then there's a pretty good chance that they'd be willing to wear a shirt or a piece of apparel for that same topic. And if you're still stuck, here are 20 niches that I've vetted myself. You can pause the video and just pick one from there. These are all great topics, and let's move on to the next step. And now that we all have our niche picked out, let's move on to probably the most important step of the entire process. And that is product research. Before we start generating our designs, we want to get an idea of what are the types of designs that people are buying and what should we be trying to make. We want to know things like what colors, what sizes, what topics and genres are people most interested in. Should we be going colorful or monocolor? Should we be doing cartoon or ultra realistic? Because AI can do all of these things, so it's important that we figure out up front what we actually want to be making. So now we're going to be doing a 3-step simple product research method that'll take us about 30 seconds to get a general idea of what we're going to be making in Midjourney. Step 1 is we're going to head over to Amazon, and at the top here, we're going to type in the name of our niche and graphic tees. So if, for example, I'm going to do the flower niche, I would type in wildflower graphic tee. Then I'm just going to scroll down and quickly glance through and see what are the types of designs that, one, I'm seeing the most of, but two, have the best seller tags, have lots of reviews, and clearly have been doing pretty well. For example, I see monocolor basic flower designs here. See this flower pattern, which was very similar to what we were seeing in W Shop, and mostly like a rustic or watercolor type feel that are colorful, but it's not like overwhelmingly colorful. Yeah, so we're seeing a very clear trend with this style. But okay, this is a great starting point for us. So for the first design that we're going to make, we're going to shoot for something along these lines with this vintage flower t-shirt. Since we saw it on W Shop, we see it now on Amazon, and we could look on Etsy for more examples, but honestly, I'm pretty sold at this point that this is a winning style design. So now, obviously, I don't want to copy them exactly because 1, it's unethical, 2, it's copyright infringement, and 3, we have AI on our side, so we don't need to do that. So now we're going to jump over to Midjourney and get all set up there and start making our designs. Now, accessing Midjourney is super easy. To gain access, you'll just want to come here to their website that looks like this and click join the beta in the bottom right hand corner. This will then drop you into a Discord server of a bunch of newbies, which is pretty cool because you can see other stuff that people are working on. As for the pricing, Discord is completely free, and Midjourney you can try out for free as well. But once you decide to get fully committed into this, you'll definitely want to upgrade to their $10 a month plan because that gives us the commercial right to sell the designs that we're generating. Now at this point, we could just start generating along with the rest of these people, but we want to keep things super easy and organized for ourselves by creating our own server so we can have a private one-on-one conversation with the Midjourney bot. To do that, just click this plus button and then hit create my own server for me me and my friend, and you can name it whatever you want. Then we'll go back and add the Midjourney bot to our server by selecting it, clicking add to server, and choosing whichever server we just made. Now here we have a private conversation with Midjourney, and we can finally get to work. So down in the chat box at the bottom, we'll type out a / followed by the word imagine. This is how you trigger Midjourney to start generating whatever text you're about to input. This is where we can enter a prompt with literally anything we can imagine. Now we're going to try and make some wildflower designs like the ones that W Shop has made tens of thousands in profit from selling. To do that, I could type in something simple like / imagine colorful wildflower design and just hit enter. Then within a matter of seconds, Midjourney generates 4 different variations for us to choose from. Now, don't worry if your design doesn't look great or it's pretty far off from what you're hoping for, because there's a lot of options for us here. Because I'm about to show you a prompt hack that speeds up things substantially for us. But first, at this point, we have 3 different options. One, if we like one of the options, then we can just go down to the bottom here and click the upscale button. And that'll give us a full res finalized version of whichever design we like, and we can move on to the next step. Or if our design is close, then we can click one of these reroll buttons down here, and that'll give us the option to change up the prompt a little bit and generate 4 more variations for us. Or we can adjust the prompt settings by typing / settings and hitting enter. The first option that we can choose from here is the Midjourney model that we want to select. You can see all of the models that Midjourney's had all the way back to their beginning when they first launched. The most recent model at the time of filming is version 6. It's the easiest to work with, in my opinion. Next up, we can change the stylization of the design, which is basically giving the AI as much leniency or restriction as we want in its creative freedoms. The human example of this would be, imagine if you had a super flower child type artist or painter at one end of the spectrum, and then at the other end you had an accountant or bookkeeper who does everything by the numbers. That range of the types of designs they would make if you gave them the same prompt, that's the stylization range. And at one end you have the accountant or bookkeeper who will try to follow to the T exactly what you said. Then at the other end you have the flower child artist who will go wild with far off script if you want them to. You can change the stylization settings by either clicking these buttons here or by adding -50 to 1000 at the end of your prompt. Here's an example of what the difference to the stylization does to your prompts, and I normally do somewhere in the middle, as that gives me a good balance of creativity and prompt adherence. Now, the first prompt hack that we can use is that instead of coming up with prompts ourselves from scratch, we're able to go over to Midjourney's website and do a search through every design that people are making. So on their website, I can go up here and type in wildflower t-shirt design and scroll through hundreds and thousands of examples of similar designs that people are making. Then if I find one that I like, I can click search with prompt and it'll show me even more that are just like that. So I like this wildflower pattern here. It looks somewhat similar to what we're trying to make. So I can just click copy prompt and go back over to Midjourney and paste it and generate it. And even if I don't end up using that exact output, it gives me a great starting point as well as some inspiration to make the prompting a lot easier. And second, and my personal favorite prompt hack that we can use is to actually have the AI come up with the prompt for us. You can easily do this by typing /describe and then uploading an image that you want it to replicate. So if I type in /describe and then take a screenshot of one of W Shop's top selling designs, I can upload it and then it returns these 4 prompts for me that are its best attempt at coming up with something similar. They even recently added this generate all button here, which will automatically generate all 4 of those prompts and give us 16 different outputs. Now, out of all the designs that I generated, I like this one here the most, so I'm going to click the upscale button and then download it to my computer. Now, there's one last thing that we have to do in order for us to be able to sell this design on a t-shirt. But first, just understand that we have barely scratched the surface of what AI is capable of, and the limit is literally just your imagination and how long you're willing to play around with these prompts. And the last thing that we have to do is that if we were to just sell this design on a t-shirt right now, it would come out all blocky and like a big square in the middle of the chest, which is obviously a big problem because A, it doesn't look that good, and B, it'll feel all crinkly and will probably break up after a couple of washes. Instead, what we want to do is remove the background so it's not a square and it's just the nice centered design with the flowers spaced out and open space in between them. And in the past, you would have had to learn Photoshop in order to do this effectively, but now, thanks to AI, we're able to do it with a click of a button completely for free. To do this, we're going to head over to a site called ClipDrop, which if you go up to the tools section here at the top and from the drop down select remove background, then lets you just upload your design, and after you create a free account, you can remove the background and download it to your computer. Now, if you don't have the paid version of ClipDrop, it does make you do a lower resolution version of the file, which is okay because we're going to combine this with vectorizer.ai, which basically turns our plain low resolution image into a .svg file. And if you've never heard of a vector file before, this is what it does. It basically turns our image into a formula version of a file that's able to be scaled and shrunk infinitely, all while maintaining a high level of quality, even if you were to blow it up to fit on a billboard. Before we go posting our artwork for sale, there's one last super important thing to understand that sets apart the successful shops that do millions of dollars in sales and those that never get a single sale. And that's that they've all been following the same rule of thumb of posting their artwork on professional level mockups so that our customers are able to easily visualize what the art will look like on a t-shirt. The best part is we don't even have to buy these mockups since Printify offers them for free. So it's really important that we finish this next step, which is uploading our products to Printify. Getting started with Printify is extremely easy. Similar to Midjourney, you can create a free account to get started. And within Printify, you'll see that they have a massive product catalog of different product styles and types that we can choose to upload our artwork to. So you can go to catalog, men's or women's t-shirts. We're using a unisex, but you select t-shirts, and then from all of the different types of t-shirts you can select, which can be overwhelming, we're going to use the Gildan 64000. I personally use this one because I found it to be the best combination between quality and competitive pricing. Then we're given the option of choosing which printer we want to use within Printify. I've personally always used Monster Digital and had a great experience with them, but feel free to take a look through the different printers and choose for yourself. Once you decide on one, you click Start Designing and then upload your finished SVG file that we just created from vectorizer.ai. Then Printify has this super easy drag and drop editor where we're able to size and position the design to fit perfectly on the shirt. Then after making sure that it's centered and it looks good and it fills up about as much of the print area as possible, we want to go up to the top corner and select our colors. I normally do anywhere from 5 to 6 colors of black, white, and a few of the heather colors if they're available. Then on the next screen, we're able to see what our mockups are going to look like. And this is something that Printify didn't used to have in the past, but it's a really nice feature because these are all automatically generated and we don't need to go and use a site like Placeit to buy new mockups. So across the top here, you can see all the different colors and angles that it offers for these mockups. And then if you scroll down, you can see that we have space to enter a product title and description. I'm personally not a very good copywriter, so I'm just going to go over to ChatGPT and upload a picture of our design and ask it to come up with product title and description for this design. Then I'm just going to copy and paste its output back over into Printify. Make sure to leave the product type specific stuff like the bullet points, the percentage, combed cotton, that kind of stuff, but everything else is great to just paste right over. And at the bottom, I'm going to update the pricing, which Printify does super cheap pricing to begin with. So I normally set my prices at around $26.99 for small through XL, $27.99 for 2XL, and $29.99 for 3XL. The reason for that is, as you can see, our expenses are higher for the larger the shirts because it uses more material. And at the bottom, I can hit publish product, and just like that, if you linked your Etsy store, which is again super easy to do, it will automatically be published from your Printify account. Then if you're like me and you want to sell on Shopify, you can easily just click the copy to button and select your Shopify store inside of Printify. Now we have our products up and live on both our Etsy and Shopify stores, which brings us to a crucial fork in the road and the point where I want to first applaud you for reaching this far in the video. And I'm excited to talk to you about this next step, which is scaling to 6 and even 7 figures. The conventional logic at this point, now that we have our product up and listed on Etsy and Shopify, that most people would say is just to rinse and repeat and make thousands of designs, and over the next 6 to 12 months, you'll start bringing in some sales and it'll be okay. So at this point, you have two different options. You can go the W Shop route of strictly Etsy, or you can go the Yoga Stay route of Shopify and a little bit of advertising to really ramp things up. On one hand, WShop requires a lot less money to get started, and it can definitely work out. But the downsides are that it does take a lot longer, like months, if not years, before you start to see any real traction. The other downside is that being an Etsy seller, your entire business is owned by Etsy at the end of the day, because you are selling in their house, so they can essentially kick you off at any point. These are some things that most YouTubers don't tell you about because they just want you to click and use their affiliate links. But once you have all the information, realize that at the end of the day, selling on Etsy, you don't have a sellable asset. You have a cash flow vehicle that is pretty risky. On the other hand, you have your product listed on Shopify as well, which if you've never done this before, you can click here to watch the 2-hour detailed training that I put together on setting up your Shopify store completely from scratch and integrating with Printify. But for now, just know that you're able to host your own website, launch with your own products, and start running a little bit of ads to your own brand. Instead, what I do with the Shopify route is I get 50 to 75 designs like Yoga Stay, and I put them on my Shopify store. Then with a little bit of money, maybe a couple $100, I start running ads to my website and seeing which designs are working best. When I see the top 5 or 7 top sellers, then I go and create more designs that are just like those. And after a short while, I have a snowball that is starting to quickly compound to the point that I'm able to ramp up our ad spend from say $100 a day to $1,000 a day. And we're aiming for a 3 to 4 returns, so we're making $3,000 to $4,000 per day in sales. That's exactly what I've been doing in the Print on Demand Challenge series that you can watch over here, but it is ultimately a much faster business to get off the ground, in my experience. The other big benefit is that just like over here, you were in Etsy's house, when you start your own Shopify store, you own everything. Meaning that you are building a real sellable asset because you're building your own traffic source, your own email list, and you're building brand recognition with your customers, which boosts lifetime value and is attractive to potential buyers. This is exactly how I've been able to grow my Print on Demand brand so quickly. Is by last month, for example, we drove over 100,000 sessions by spending a little under $52,000 on ads. The Shopify plus ads route is exactly how I was able to go from zero to over $600,000 in sales in just under 6 months. That would have never been possible if I was doing strictly Etsy. Etsy can definitely still work, but just be prepared for the results to take a little bit longer to come in. And the best part is that you can do both. And that's personally what I like to do is I start a Shopify brand and prove out that I'm in a good niche and people are liking the products. And then I launch those same products on Etsy. And then I get the best of both worlds. So if selling on Shopify plus Etsy sounds like the right fit for you in not just your print on demand business, but if you're doing drop shipping, pretty much anything, any physical products business, this can work well. But if that sounds like something that interests you, then feel free to sign up for our free school community that we're launching right over here. Going to be putting a ton of free courses and content and materials for you to use. All the swipe files that I've been giving away, you can get them all for free over there. And I give you all the tools that you need to get started and start selling and start building your Shopify brand to $100,000 per month as fast as possible. Either way, I hope you found this video useful and you've gotten exposed to some new possibilities for your business that you're starting or potentially growing. And I want to applaud you for being part of the select few that have the attention span nowadays to get to the end of a video of this length. Focus is an invaluable resource that took me a long time to learn the tremendous impact that it can have on your business. If you made it this far, then you clearly have that ability. And if you can hold on to that through the ups and downs that are surely going to come from starting this business or any business for that matter, then you will be successful in the long term. If there's anything else that I can do to help you guys, I'm here for you. I'm starting a brand new Twitter account at Chris P. Heckman. You can feel free to reach me there. I'll be a lot more active there. Please feel free to leave comments down below. I'm happy to help however I can. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.